Hello and welcome to chapter 186 of the DC Alliance podcast. With me, as always, is Joe. Joe, how you doing this evening?
Busy. I had a very busy weekend, followed by actually, it was a very busy week, followed by a very busy weekend, and this week is not going to be any less busy. So, yeah, just same old, same old. How are you, Travis?
Uh, I'm pretty good, Joe. I had a nice weekend. I went out visiting my hometown. Well, small, I can't call it town. Small, 200 plus people. Place I grew up and brought my kid out there. My parents right there. It was a fun
Oh,
time. They got to really just maul the kid for as long as we were there. Some fun, not so smart, positive thing about me on the trip. So I was cleaning out the RV that we have, the SUV, sorry, that we have, and then my father was asking me a question, and I went to open up the door and I wasn't even paying attention, and I smacked myself like right up
ooh,
the nose with the door, busted open my nose. It was bleeding and felt like quite the idiot, Joe, when I told Allison about it. She's like, "What happened?" I was like, "Well, I opened up the door in my face." She was like, What?" So, yeah, people were talking to me. I was distracted. Not a private moment. So, besides that, it was fun. And I had the day off today, so I didn't have to go back to work. That doesn't start till tomorrow. So, been looking forward to this, but we haven't gotten a whole lot of news, unfortunately. Slow week,
that's
you
fun.
know. Uh,
Well,
Also,
yes,
hi, Andrew.
yes, exactly. Hi, Andrew.
Yeah, it was a smack. I can tell you that. There's still remnants of it here, but I'm not going to zoom in on that on the YouTube show. But again, it fun trip. Besides that, so I'm ready to talk about the news that we have. A few Blue Beetle updates. This Wonder Woman thing that I'm excited to pick your brain about, and my adventures with Superman, the newest episode. So before we get into all that goodness, Joe, I'm going to do the network plugs and get them out of the way. We are part of the Geek Ultimate Alliance with 7 shows in total. On Mondays is Ranger Alliance bi-weekly. On Tuesdays is DC Alliance. On Wednesdays is the Animation Nation. On Thursdays is Star Wars Alliance. On Fridays is Marvel Alliance. On Saturdays, bi-weekly as they walk through the multiverse. And Sundays, monthly, is World's Finest True Believers. DC Alliance goes live on the Geekverse YouTube channel Mondays at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Star Wars Alliance goes live Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. I've noticed lately. And Marvel Alliance goes live at
Why can't
Thursday
you say
at
lately? It's always been 7.
no. Sometimes it's been 8. Don't call me out, Joe. You're right. Yeah, yeah. I know. I've been saying 8 for quite a while, and it's wrong.
You have, and I just never corrected you.
Yeah, I know too. I just kept going. So yeah. Star Wars Alliance goes live Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, and Marvel
Nope.
Alliance goes live Thursdays at 9:10 p.m. Eastern Time. All 3 of those shows also have their own podcast feeds. Search Marvel Alliance, DC Alliance, and Star Wars Alliance. You just want Marvel content, DC content, or Star Wars content only. But if you want all 8 shows on the GWA Podcast Network, stay subscribed to the GWA on your podcast app of choice. We also have a Patreon, 2 tiers, a $1 tier and a $5 tier. The $1 tier is basically a tip jar. Like what we're doing, you want to help us out any way you can. And the $5 tier is where you get your extras. You get your ad-free episodes, early access episodes, and Patreon exclusive episodes. The Batman and Robin review that myself and Joe have done, that was fun. That's up there on the Patreon. Joe, what's up for us this month? I'm trying to remember.
Let's see if you can do it. Nope.
Oh, League of
Steel.
Extraordinary Gentlemen.
No, Steel.
No, dang it. No, that was one of the ones that are on
No,
deck.
League of
But Steel.
Extraordinary Gentlemen is what I just recorded over in Comic Rundown.
Son of a gun. I know you said it was coming up, though.
Yeah,
Yeah, but
It's coming out soon. Like we've got Steel, and then I believe it's
Road to Perdition
nope,
in there
Road to
somewhere.
Perdition. I'm like, it's not
Yeah.
History of the Violence. That's later, and then League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
Really excited to dive into some of those, Joe. I haven't watched a couple of them. A League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. It's been so long, but I love that. So
It's like a
myself
month.
and
Me.
myself and Joe, myself and Joe are going through all the DC films through the year. So stick with us. We have the Marvel Alliance guys going through their Infinity Saga rewatch. So stick with Chris and Brent. They cover the entirety of the Infinity Saga. We have Clay going through shows for the first time. Katie going through Star Wars comics with her husband, and we have Joe's Multiverse Minutes. We thank everyone that's a patron. But if you're not a patron, if you take a quick 30 to 60 seconds, rate and review the podcast on your podcast app of choice, it would be greatly appreciated. It helps other people find the show, and that's always a good thing. Okay, Joe.
Do we want to talk about the giveaway for the Blue Beetle movie?
Yes, we do. So for the next, for this week, next week, and the following week, if you're in the chat and you comment any of the live shows, you are entered in for a chance to win. And luckily, it's right next to me for you YouTube viewers. A nice Eagle Mask collectible of Thy Kingdom Come. It's a chunky one, so it'll be fun to send this out.
Yeah,
And we already
I'm
have a
gonna.
couple people in the chat that have already
Yeah,
automatically been
I'm
entered.
writing them down as they comment. I've got. I might have a couple. They're over there at the moment, but I might actually try and find the Blue Beetle one. So,
And Andrew
um,
asks, "How many
yeah,
physical comics do you own, Joe?" It's quite the collection in your background, and that's for the YouTube people. The
a
Joe is
lot.
just shadowed.
If I check my CLZ, I have a grand total of 8,942.
Woo!
Now it was up to about 12,000, but I sold a bunch of them. I just got rid of a lot. So
Wow, Joe,
yeah,
that's awesome. And all the game has a comment here, but we're going to get right into that because that goes with what we have to talk about here, Joe, and our opening topic, which is Gal Gadot on the new Wonder Woman film. She says, "We are developing a third movie, and we will see what happens with it. No one ever talked to me about freezing." This is from a Israeli translated interview. I mean, I was told I was in good hands and that I could be calm, and then James Gunn said, "We talked to Gail, and she's up to doing stuff." Do you think?
that
Do you think she's going to stay on
it
as Wonder
surprises
Woman?
me
Yes.
considering
Uh,
c-
considering
because
this comment that On the Game has right here, because I think this is what a lot of
yeah,
people are feeling. Because On the Game
100%.
says, "Wouldn't it be weird and confusing to have a new DCU Batman, Superman, Flash, etc., but having Gal as Wonder Woman?"
Well, and Andrew says, part of me wonders if it will be Elseworlds. If it's Elseworlds, fine. You know what? There's a bunch of great Elseworld stories, especially some Wonder Woman Elseworld stories that they can tell. But having the whole fact of Gunn saying, "Oh yeah, I'm keeping some characters, but all these characters are going different." I It should have just been a clean wipe.
Yeah.
Now, I love Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman. I thought she did a wonderful job in every single role, every single time we've seen her. Um, that being said, this definitely sounds like she was never told that the movie got scrapped. Patty Jenkins left, right?
Yeah.
Like she's gone.
Her
So
version of the script was scrapped, but it seems like because what people speculated that Godot would not do this without Jenkins, but
yeah,
seems like that might not be the case. But I'm with
well,
on the game, and
paycheck's
I
paycheck. She just had her third kid. What, earlier this year or
or
late last
fourth,
year?
maybe fourth.
Fourth kid? Yeah. So I
I'm
mean,
not.
I'm not saying she's not getting work, but like, it's a paycheck. It's a I'm not gonna say a steady paycheck, but it's a guaranteed paycheck.
Yeah,
I would never one bit.
and I do want to. I do see. I saw a lot of this on Twitter over this past week about this. People getting mad at people because they're expressing the same sentiment that on the game expressed here of it being a little weird having new Superman, Batman, Flash, but keeping Gal as Wonder Woman. And
But that's no
you're
different
like,
than keeping Jason Momoa as Aquaman.
yeah, you're allowed to also
Kids do that.
you're allowed to feel that way. You're allowed to feel like it might be a bit weird for you, and they may explain it perfectly. They may do something, but again, you're allowed to feel that you're not as confident in this idea. Like I love Peacemaker. I really enjoyed the Suicide Squad. Both you and I did. James Gunn
Mhm.
version. I would have been in team reboot everything if you're rebooting the main
All of
guys,
it.
main people,
Reboot all of it.
because
Because even
you're also handcuffing a potential new person to take on that role. Yes, Godot's had two movies of her own, plus a couple Justice League and Justice League the Snyder Cut, and the also she was in the Flash. She had several appearances in that.
yeah, so you got that. But again, when you start actually breaking it down, you had Peacemaker, where you saw Aquaman and Flash.
Mhm.
Flash had Wonder Woman, uh, and Aquaman, and like then you start expanding that way. Wonder Woman was in Shazam, and all Peacemaker was in Suicide Squad, which was with Harley Quinn, which is the same Batman. Like when you start going backwards, it starts to be problematic.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I love Peacemaker, and I'm happy that they're continuing on. But they should just call it Peacemaker Season 2, Waller, done. Now
Yes.
everything is brand new.
Yes, and
Or
even cast
like
those
Andrew
people
said,
in those.
or I would say, or like Andrew said, it's all Elseworlds. And
Yes.
the DCU by itself is a brand new thing. We're not worrying about Elseworlds because those are separate. Which means you could have a third Wonder Woman movie. You could have a third Aquaman movie. You could have all these continuations of previous stuff, and it's not going to affect the DCU proper.
No, I don't. I think that's where you get maybe some problems with the general audience understanding what is part of
100%
what.
yes.
But we'll get to some of the comments here as well. On the
I
game
was going to
says,
say the nerds who actually like all this stuff, we're all nerds
yeah,
who actually
oh yeah,
understand it.
oh yeah,
We are the ones to be able to explain it to the general audience.
There you go. That's another point as well, Joe. On the game says Paradise Lost prequel show seemed almost done to prevent addressing Gal Wonder Woman issue at the time, letting it pass to introduce a new Wonder Woman. That's what I
That
thought
was
as well
perfect.
on the game. And Randy O'Donnell
Hey, Randy.
says Zaslav did this. Hi, Randy. Discovery is worried that Superman Legacy will fail. They need a massive film to launch the DCU. Wonder Woman will do that. $1 billion is possible. And
Ooh, do
Andrew
you
also
really
says she
think?
was in BVS as well.
Yeah, but
I
that's where she
think
started, obviously. Do you really think
we
that Legacy will fail? Like,
I don't think Legacy will fail. I know they can possibly be worried about it. I know Barbie is definitely lessening the worry for the film. I do remember
see,
watching the Superman Lives documentary, and the guy was talking about
love
we
that.
kept going into the studio, and they kept like every month they had miss after miss, like loss after loss, and like our movie kept getting
Well, yeah,
budget
because
kept
I was
shrinking,
like,
and
at that point
possibilities.
you had Batman Forever, who was fine. You got a sequel, but okay. Then Batman and Robin, and then Steel, and that's just DC stuff.
Yeah, but
That's
they
not
were having
including
like
all of their
regular mail.
other
Yeah.
WB movies.
So this was a
Yeah,
good that Barbie. I'm happy that it did well because I do think it puts less pressure on the studio because they were having loss after loss after loss. So it is nice to see
okay.
them getting away in one sense, just for uh, the DCU to possibly not get reboot. We would both want to say we both support support both the unions that are striking against the studios right now.
100%.
I'm just talking about I don't want to see DCU get rebooted for another time because we have another like this being sold again to someone
I
else.
just it's happened too quickly already, and it's already a big giant mess.
And this is Andrew says, "Will J.J. Abrams Superman still happen?" I'm not sure if
Ooh.
that will happen, and I think it's a possibility,
I
but
mean, that could be in Elseworlds,
that
and
is one that is definitely
they've already
Elseworlds.
expressed Elseworlds is the thing because of the Batman and the Joker.
And Randy O'Donnell brought up something that I wanted to talk about tonight, not the Wonder Woman. I was just talking about her doing an actual DC film.
I
But
mean,
Randy, I think you hit the nail over head here with her directing Gal and Wonder Woman. I think it'd be pretty damn awesome.
I wouldn't say no to it.
But again, this does muddy the water for people, and it can. I have seen a lot of people get frustrated with people that are saying like, "This is confusing to me. Why would they do this? Why wouldn't they just reboot?" Especially when I still all I see is hints for Momoa not to be Aquaman, to be Lobo. So again, I don't know why you wouldn't just do a clean sweep of most of these people.
See,
But
that's the other thing. If you think about it, Gunn purposely axed Cavill and half of Affleck's scenes in Flash, and axed both Keaton and Affleck in Aquaman. So how are you going to continue on with one of the three giants of that trinity and not have the other two? Just in these movies that you know they're ending this series. They would have ended and they would have been done. Having that little blip at the end of Flash of Ben Affleck saying, "Barry, what did you do?" in a warehouse with a bunch of dead guys. Because the multiverse would have been perfect. That actually would have been a great lead-in to the new universe. Yeah, it might give people hope. Oh, Ben Affleck's coming back. I mean, no, he's not. He's already said he did the two cameos so that it could end it all. But
yeah,
I don't know.
I think
I'm right
too.
there
You
with
could.
you. Like having Wonder Woman, having Gal Gadot show back up is going to be confusing as hell.
It's frustrating because you could do it this way. Just thinking off the top of my head, you could do the Paradise Lost prequel show like
Yeah.
on the game, and they talked about it. And then at the very end of that one season show, you could have the same way they did it with the Justice League animated series of Wonder Woman going in. You don't see the actress or the person playing Wonder Woman, just a dark shadowy figure reach in and grab the Wonder Woman garb, and then you could show her in the DCU, like showing up in the DCU for a problem, just like you had with Secret Origins, her showing up, nobody really knowing who she is, and pick up that way because we've already had the general audience has already had multiple Wonder Woman movies now, so they know who she is. So you don't have to spend an origin film in the DCU. You can just say, "Here's our Wonder Woman. Look, here she is flying. You got a
Plus,
little bit of backstory of the Amazons in Paradise Lost. Here you go."
yeah. Speaking of Paradise Lost, it's no different than in Crisis on Infinite Earth, the comic, when Wonder Woman was there, gets quote unquote killed by the anti-monitor, gets sent back to Earth, and basically turns her back into clay, which then had Paradise Lost, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
first one, yeah. So like it brought that about. So I don't know.
And on the game says Greta Gerwig would be an interesting choice for the DCU Supergirl movie. Wouldn't mind seeing a Gina Prince by the Wood, who directed the hell out of the Woman King, directed the DCU Wonder Woman movie. That wouldn't be a bad idea either.
Yeah, I haven't seen the
Uh,
Woman King. It was one of those that was like looks great. I just never got around to watching it.
Andrew says hopefully we'll get Keaton Affleck cameos and deleted scenes, though I'm not counting on it. I would hope so as well down the line.
Allegedly, Andy Muschietti is making a director's cut of The Flash, which in
Ooh,
theory
would
should
have
get us
this.
those deleted scenes. That's for The Flash. Now, I'm
That's for the
sure Andrew's referring to Aquaman. I would hope Juan would be too, but Juan's a little preoccupied at the moment, so we're not. I'm not too worried about that just yet.
Same.
We'll get to that in a bit.
Again, it, this is a little frustrating to me, but I'm gonna keep going with a positive, like open mind. I don't know if this is gonna be a completely different take on the character than the one we have now, with Gadot still playing the actress, but you have Saffron and Gunn helping her. Gunn maybe writing the script. Who knows?
And again,
I'm
yeah,
not
like
sure.
we don't know just yet. This could all fall through.
Yes, but he has expressed that he's not. He has expressed that Gadot has not been recast as Wonder Woman. Right? If he's expressed it since he's come on in replies for things as well. So
Okay.
I wonder if we'll see her. I'm not sure. I think we should reboot, and you and I are both in agreement on that. But
100%.
it's not like this is a deal breaker for us to consume this
No, I'll
content.
still watch it. Like I'm not gonna
Yeah.
complain, but
So before we get into the news, Joe, let's take our first ad break of the evening. Listeners, we're an ad-supported network. We don't pick the ads or the volume. I'm going to give you a quick 3 count to adjust your volume, and we'll be right back in 3, 2, 1. And we're back. Okay, Joe. Uh, ooh,
so Randy says here, Superman Legacy is shaky with all the non-super family characters. Gunn says he needs them to tell a Superman tale. That tells you he is wrong for Superman. The buzz is negative around Superman Legacy, and Zaslav realizes it. Now, we had actually discussed that, Randy, 2 episodes ago, 3 episodes ago. Our thoughts on how these characters could play out in Superman Legacy. I think we said it's world building. Like those heroes are already
yes.
here in play, and Superman is coming into the world in this world of superheroes are around. I have not heard that the negative buzz around Superman Legacy. I've only heard all the positive. I'm not saying it's out there. I believe you 100%. I just haven't heard the negative buzz.
Yeah,
Um,
I've seen small amounts of it, but not a
yeah,
whole lot. I've seen some people express trepidation for Gunn because of Peacemaker stuff for handling Superman.
I remember,
Uh,
like I recall back in the day when we first had the rumor of Gunn writing and directing. I'm like, he shouldn't do both.
I
I had said that back in the day.
Yeah, I agree with you on that, Joe. I also, to Randy's point, I do think that the last few DC movies that have failed, even since Gunn has been named, Gunn and Safran were named at the start of the new year, we've had 2 failure DC films, and
Agreed.
one of them, well, Black Adam was before they were named. Shazam.
They were named at the beginning of November, weren't they?
No,
Or October.
they were named in January, at the end of January, before they were going to be named. No, he was going to announce before January. He wasn't announced until after.
He was announcing what the slate was.
Yeah,
They
but
they
he was
were announced as heads in November.
they weren't
I'm
announced
pretty
until
sure. I'm pretty
after
sure.
Black Adam. They were after Black Adam, after Henry
I'm gonna
Cavill.
double check
No,
that
because
one.
Henry Cavill announced he was back, and then a week later, Gunn was announced, and he said like, "We're not doing Superman. Because that's why people thought." And Henry Cavill came back and said, "I'm back," and then Gunn took over and said, "I'm not doing this with Superman." So, besides point, I do think, Randy, that Zaslav was a little shaken because of the failure for these couple DC films. Obviously, these aren't ones that Gunn's had a hand in like from the start, but he did edit. I know I'm right on this. You can give me a thumbs up anytime.
No. In late 2022.
Yeah, but Black Adam was out first, but
I don't
Henry
think he was out
Cavill.
first.
Yes, because Henry Cavill came out and first pop said, "Yeah, I'm back," because of the post credit scene, and
Yes.
then literally a week later, Gunn came out and said, like, "Yes, like I'm coming. Gunn was announced, and then a couple days later, he said, "I'm doing Superman Legacy from the ground up. I don't need Cavill."
When was Black Adam out?
I can't remember. Just look at Cavill's. You could see Cavill's Instagram, and it would show you because he does a little video promoting it. I don't know. He might have deleted that by now.
Hold
But
on, let
then,
me
like
check
a couple days later, he posts like, "You got to honor the new Superman, guys. This is not
Okay.
what they wanted."
Black Adam came out. Black Adam came out in October 21st.
Yeah.
So and then Gunn and Saffron were announced on October 26th.
Yeah, it was very
So
close.
it
Like,
was after. I'll give you credit on that. But it was in 2022.
Oh yeah, but it was a crappy. You were right about me thinking about it being January
Correct.
31st being the DCU
And I was
chapter stuff.
wrong saying that Black Adam was in the
Yeah.
list. So yes, he had two
Yeah.
bad movies.
Yes,
under their
but even that, it was really quickly after, and the sour taste of Black Adam continued to fail. I don't think that you shakes that from the brand. So I can see Randy thinking that
And
Zaslav might be a little nervous.
the next two are in flux. Like
Yeah.
since once Flash failed, which everybody thought was going to do great because of Keaton. You know, we're going to talk about Blue Beetle here in just a minute, but like the other two aren't looking too hot.
No, and on Game At says the other 4 DCU movies on the slate don't have writers directors chat attached yet. I don't think so. I know Swamp Thing with Mangold, but I don't know if that's a full movie or is that a HBO Max special. It's a movie. Okay, yeah. So besides that, I don't think anything else has
writers. Correct. I think Brave and the Bold got
Andy Muschietti.
Andy Muschietti.
Yeah.
But like Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow. Oh God, what else is coming out?
Andrew says the great debate, and it was.
I'm just trying to prove a point that I was right and I actually was wrong. So
settled amicably. So Joe, let's get into the news here. Blue Beetle is estimated to earn $30 million domestically during its open weekend. Quite a bump from the 12 to 20-ish that it was rising. Let's hope it keeps going up. I know that there's.
This is going to be word of mouth.
Yes, it is. It is, but I think it's possible. I do think it's possible.
It is possible.
Yes, we know we'll have a better idea going forward. Like after we watch the film, like I kind of had a feeling Wonder Woman would keep going once I watched the film and realized how good it was. Yeah,
but the other thing that sucks is that the actors can't promote the movie right now because of the strike.
Yeah, that's
will hurt it a little bit.
Yes, and I want to talk about the strike and playing another role in something a little tiny bit, just in a few other news posts. But just a couple other things for Blue Beetle as well is getting a China release same day. So that's awesome. That's more for the bottom line, which we always like. And I think Blue Beetle will play well over in China. I do think so. We have also confirmed that there's 2 post-credit scenes for Blue Beetle. And as someone who watched Shazam, I'm a little nervous about these. I do hope these are not just stupid things that I wait around for that I really wish I didn't. I hope these are actually good. What do you think about these 2 post credits?
The problem with post credits is that we've got accustomed to Marvel's post credits, and it's going to lead to another project. These aren't really going to lead to another project. Although Blue Beetle allegedly is supposed to be part of the DCU. So maybe it will. I don't know.
I did see a cool interview with the director from Jig's Takes. And he was saying when he asked whose Batman this was, he said we tried to make it so that it could be anybody's Batman. So I
Yeah,
don't think it's like emboldened to the DCEU. So I do hope that it's transferable. And Andrew asked, with Max release budget now going into the theaters, it doesn't have to make a whole lot to break even, right? I don't think so.
they added money to the budget
I think
for
it was like I
theaters.
think it got up to 100 million with the added
Yeah,
money, and so just 200. I think it is possible, Andrew.
it
Hopefully,
will
it
break
does a
even.
lot
I
better.
think it will
Yes,
break even in its life, like in theaters, but
yes.
it's definitely not going to be making a ton. It's not going to be doing like 60 million opening weekend. I'll
No,
I'll be happy if it hits 30. If I'm being honest,
I would like to see 50. If saw 50,
if it
you'd
hits
see a
50, it'd be great.
happy dance for me.
If it
So
hits 30,
Joe,
I'll be happy.
yeah, same actually. Also for some people, whoever has Regal opportunities, Regal Crown Club members get a 30-day free trial of DC Universe Infinite when you purchase a ticket to see Blue Beetle in RPX, 4DX, or Screen X while supplies last. So just wanted to shout that out for any of our listeners that have Regal theaters. You can possibly
Or
get a
Cinemark.
yeah. And
Yeah,
yes,
I've
Andrew asks, are either of you seeing it IMAX?
new
I,
just because
I
Regal doesn't offer my Regal here in my city doesn't offer IMAX at the Regal. I've got to go to AMC for that, and I don't like that theater. It's an old theater that is just kind of run down.
thank you. On the game, this is why you rock. On the game says Blue Beetle has a reported budget of 120 million, needs to make close to Shazam's 363 for a decent profit.
Whew,
A little bit more
that's
of a
gonna be
tall
tough.
task, but it, like we said before, it does have all summer essentially to itself. So I do think that it's possible still.
Yeah, the only like this week is the last voyage of the Demeter, which looks fun. But then going up against it the same week is the Strays dog comedy movie. And then after that is what did I say? It wasn't something that was like excitable. Like it didn't really. There's literally nothing. There's nothing from now to the end of the month, and even some of September. So in theory, it should be in theaters for quite a while and get money back. But I don't. I don't see it making 363 million.
And Andrew, I'm for IMAX. I just checked that the tickets aren't even on sale at my theater yet for Blue Beetle. So whenever they come up, you'll know when Travis buys them.
Day
Uh,
before,
tough break sometimes.
which I am seeing it Thursday night, and I might go see it Friday, depending on first viewing.
That would be pretty cool, Joe. If you could possibly swing that.
That's right.
Hold on, another pretty cool little
Yeah,
piece of.
it would be destroyed, Andrew, if it went up against Dune and or the Marvels.
Oh, 100% wouldn't it be? It gets Shazammed. Jaime Reyes' co-creator Cully Hamner saw Blue Beetle last night. He says saw something extremely cool tonight. Thank you, Angel Emmanuel Soto. Can't wait for everybody to see Blue Beetle. That's pretty awesome. And like we talked about earlier before the show, Blue Beetle's #1 anticipated film for Rotten Tomatoes for
awesome.
August. Which, yes, that really gets me excited, Joe. The other ones on this list were Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem, which I'm hoping to see that tomorrow right after work. Meg 2, The Trench was third. Gran Turismo, the movie, was 4.
That's the
And
other one.
The Last Voyage of the Demeter was the final one.
Dracula. That one, I kind of want
Yes.
to see that movie.
With the guy from Game of Thrones, Stannis. No, not Stannis. The guy who was Stannis' right hand man. I can't remember him. That
I don't know.
he became Jon Snow's Gran Turismo. Yeah,
Yeah, it's if you go see go see the trailer in theaters, it says this really happened. Like this is based on a real story. This really happened.
we're actually making this movie. This really happened. Less of a positive note here, Joe. We get a little tweet here. Prayers up for James Wan. It's been a extremely rough couple of days and nights. You never want to rush the ER in the middle of the night and then have to stay in the hospital. Cedar Sinai is truly the best doctors, nurses, technicians, and just the most wonderful people. James is safe now and on the mend. We don't know what happened to him. Just hope that he has a speedy, quick recovery.
Correct.
I know it can definitely be stressful with all the stuff he has to do with Aquaman leading up to the December release. Also, Joe, this is what I really wanted to talk to you about with the strike. David Ayer shared some pictures from his cut, Suicide Squad, the Ayer cut, obviously. And then he had this lengthy reply on Twitter when someone just said, yeah, we've seen this picture before. I want to read this picture. There's a couple little tidbits here that I think are a little interesting. He said, what's your advice on how to navigate this situation with grace? There's a genuine curiosity and interest from a lot of people, and I'm aware there's another group of people that have fun mocking the film. Your comment is a perfect example of how many of the magnetically drawn drawn discussion to the 2016 film in a negative way. You've ever had an experience in life that didn't go the way you want it, that dragged you, that made you rethink everything. I have. All I know is my unseen film plays much better than a studio release. The interest in my cut being shown seemed real and organic, and Gunn told me it would have its time to be shared. He absolutely deserves to last DC universe without more drama about old projects. In a way, I'm chained to this. I'm riding a tiger here, this situation the best I can. Life is a very strange journey. Welcome to my TED Talk. That was quite the spiel. Navigating was the word that I threw up there at the end. Uh, Joe, I want to talk to you about this because he did say Gunn told me it would have its time to be shared. I think that this writer's strike and actor strike is definitely a positive for him, positive in the chances for him to get this release. But the longer we go, the bigger gap there's going to be without content being made. On the game says, would it be healthy for him to move on to a new and original project? He has done a couple projects since on the game, I think. It's just the frustrating thing for him is he gets hammered critically for this and like some of the nonsense in the film when he has like said a lot that it's just normal. Like there's normal storylines that they just took out and made it make no sense. He just went along like the good soldier. But I feel the worst for him because he didn't do anything wrong. They made changes to his film because of what the reception to BVS. Yep. So a film that he didn't have anything to do with. So that's why I just feel like he should get that release at some point. I do think that the longer this strike goes, the chances of us seeing the Ayer cut in 2024 or 2025 becomes a really distinct possibility because there's going to be a bigger and bigger gap where there's no films made, there's no content. Look what happened with COVID pushing back just a little bit in the productions. We got the Snyder Cut because of that.
Exactly.
So I do think that there is a lot more of a possibility of this happening, and I would love to see it just for the sake of see it. I do think that it would I want him to move on, but when you get dragged and you get said that like you made this film, like this is all your decisions when it wasn't, when it was taken out of your hands but slapped your name on it anyway. I do think that there is room for him to be able to get that cut. I do want to see the DCU going forward. And I'm really interested in all the projects, but I do think he deserves to get his cut released.
And again, Elseworlds. Actually, in all honesty, it'd be one of those things where, you look at the Marvel, look at MCU. Black Widow is a perfect example of a movie that is Phase 4, but takes place in Phase 3, and no one questions that, But MCU actually has a coherent timeline.
Yeah.
And so, yes, you can have this movie come out, but no one questions where Zack Snyder's Justice League lands. Like, that lands where 2017 would have been. So this comes out, and it would land in 15 when the movie came out? 2016? I can't remember.
And I actually enjoyed the regular Suicide Squad quite a bit. As bad as Suicide Squad was, I really want Ayer cut. A lot of people did not like the Suicide Squad. And all in the game says, does it muddy the waters a little bit for the new DCU for GA? And that's what I'm talking about with the strike all in the game, because I do think that if this was normal, I think we would be waiting quite a while to see this, maybe another 5 years, for example. But I think there's definitely a heightened possibility the longer and longer this strike goes. And from everything I'm reading, this strike is going to go longer and longer and longer.
Sorry about that.
Nope, that's okay. So, I hope he gets it released. But again, I'm just excited for things going forward. muddy the water for the GA. I do think that is a distinct possibility, especially when you see some of these characters. If they're adapting exactly from
And
James
it
Gunn's
will.
Suicide Squad, you'll see Captain Boomerang, who's dead now, and maybe we get another Captain
Again,
Boomerang in DCU.
it's going to be one of those things where will it get a theatrical release? Probably not. It'd probably be HBO, or I'm sorry,
Yeah,
Max release, if anything, and then maybe a DVD or Blu-ray.
yeah.
I don't. It's not going to go to the theaters. It's definitely
No,
not
not
going to
at
the
all.
theaters
We're not
because that
saying that
will
at all.
muddy it.
Which I do
It's
think
going to get
that says,
muddied already,
I think
but
that cuts. I
it's
think what you're saying that cuts a lot of the muddying the waters because of just the streaming service that I
it
don't even
can,
have
but
that
it
streaming
can't.
service right now. Like I can't
Yeah, but
access. Like we don't get
isn't
offered that.
what doesn't the whatever service you guys have up there, isn't that
Crave,
just
I'm not
gonna
sure. They have to be individual deals for stuff like that. They had to reach their own
gotcha,
individual deal for the Snyder Cut.
gotcha.
Andrew asks, "Did you see the release cut Air Cut T-shirts?" I didn't see
I
them, but
did not.
if they're new ones, I've seen the older ones. If they're the older ones you're talking about, Andrew. James Gunn also talked a little bit about Creature Commandos. He said that the voice acting for Creature Commandos was finalized before the strike, and that it's a 7-episode season. I'm excited for this show, but I don't know how many other people are. I hope it takes a invincible like
Decent
grasp
project.
of uh, the general audience, but I'm not sure that's actually going to happen here.
I don't know if it's gonna go that level of depravity, but
Yeah,
it potentially could be, if we're being
yeah,
honest. I mean, look at Harley Quinn. Look at Harley, but that's more comedic than Invincible's action.
yeah.
But I'm still here for it.
Same, Joe. Same. I'm excited to check it out when we do get a chance, and to see some of those people step over in live action in the DCU. We also have a little thing here that it says that Aquaman: The Last Kingdom will reportedly keep its holiday date, which I wish it wasn't Christmas. I wish it was moved back or moved ahead a little bit. But
It's keeping it now. If the
yeah,
strike goes on any longer, I guarantee they're gonna bump it. We
they
still
could
haven't had
just
a trailer yet,
yeah.
so that kind of gives me some indication. If we
Also, a lot of
had a
reshoots have
trailer
happened.
before before Blue Beetle came out, or even just slightly thereafter, I'd be like, okay, cool, maybe they will keep it. No, we haven't had a trailer yet.
No,
I
and like I
think it's
said,
moving. I honestly think it's gonna get bumped.
I think
And
you could be right about that, Joe.
like you said earlier, they're not gonna have content.
No,
And
you got to spread stuff out. You got to
exactly.
spread stuff out more and more and more. You can't have the
Like
Indiana
you
Jones.
could actually
Uh,
you could actually eat up the big the first quarter of 2024, and
yeah,
this movie could be successful because you don't have anything if you put it out in that, and you're not going like you're really gonna go up against Dune. Come on,
yeah,
like Dune's gonna kill you.
yeah. Maybe that.
You're fighting yourself. This is
The
stupid.
the final thing is that animated Kingdom Come maybe was discussed, but due to changing regimes, we couldn't go forward with anything like that. If it was in the if it was in the Tomorrowverse, I'm fine that it didn't go forward because they probably would
That's
have
fair.
skipped
Well,
over like 75% of it off screen.
I
What
feel like
happened?
it would have just been a like a movie on its own. Because
Yeah, like
even with the Tomorrowverse out, they're still putting on
like
individual
Injustice you're
movies.
talking about. Yeah, like
Yeah,
its
something like
own
that,
thing.
which
Yeah,
would
which
probably still suck.
yeah, yeah, Injustice leaves a sore spot in my mouth. So, Joe, before we get into our little bit of Superman talk at the end here with our adventures with Superman, we'll take our final ad break. Listeners, we're an ad support network. We don't pick the ads or the volume. I'm going to give you a quick 3 count to adjust your volume, and we'll be right back in 3, 2, 1. And we're back. Okay, Joe. We got another adventure with Superman, a new episode. What do you think about this new episode 6?
I loved it. This was awesome. This really was awesome. I really enjoyed this episode. The fact that Mr. Mala and Jimmy are both like just like crazy and they're just having fun. It was
Oh my
great.
god, what a different take than what we saw. I'm pretty sure we saw them in Doom Patrol, right?
They were in Doom Patrol. They were, I
Yeah,
mean, it wasn't completely
they were
different.
more take over the universe, take over like more evil, more
So
maniacally evil.
they were definitely evil in Doom Patrol. I always go back to the original Teen Titans cartoon where they are just legitimately bad characters,
Yeah,
like bad guys.
yeah,
This one was just fun. Like Brain is always trying to like kill everybody and kill the intruders, but no, Mr. Marlowe is just like, no, don't do it, no.
And on the game asks us if strike goes on, will they release Dune 2 with no actors doing promo for it? I definitely think they could do that.
And they would still be okay with it if we're being honest. Like
Oh,
the
100%. I
movie's
think
gonna make bank regardless.
the movie's going to sell itself on that one.
Yeah,
Uh, Andrew says, "I love this episode.
so good.
I know I've said it, but I love that it's anime. I really enjoying
100%.
that it's anime as well, Andrew and Joe. I'm right there with you. I really enjoyed this episode. Thought Jimmy got it got a lot of time to shine here,
Jimmy got to shine. The fact that
and
one thing I loved, and I'm sure you probably loved it too, the fact that Jimmy knew all along.
yes,
He's like, yeah,
yes,
I knew day one. You can't sit there and say our door broke when the screws are yanked out of the door, or our handle broke when the screws are yanked out of the door. Like I'm not gonna. I was waiting for you to tell me yourself. Like I love that. That was
He
great.
pulled a Chloe. He pulled a Chloe when Chloe found out in Smallville in season 4. She waited a full season until he used his powers in front of her and then went to talk to her after. And he was like, "You didn't freak out," and he was like, "Yeah." She was like, "Yeah, I know. I knew since last year. So I wanted to wait until you were comfortable enough to come talk to me about it if you ever did." And Andrew asked, "Was this the end of season 1?" No, it is not. There are
So
4 episodes left. Kiss Kiss Fall in Portal, Zero Day, which is 2 episodes long, and Hearts of the Fathers, which
okay,
is
yeah,
episode
because I
10.
thought we had originally thought this was 6 episodes.
We
I
did.
thought that's actually what was the articles were
A
saying
listener last week or the week
last week.
before
Told us.
told us, and you can see all the dates are no breaks, which is awesome. August
Good.
11th, August 18th, August 25th, and September 1st. So, yeah, very excited about this. I love this episode. I did like the giant robot at the end there. I enjoyed like Clark standing up and saving Lois, and Lois throughout the episode just seeing the true like Clark's true self, and just
Also,
losing
the
her anger the entire time.
yeah, exactly. Also, the fact of Clark doesn't know about himself. He doesn't know his powers.
Yeah,
So at one point, when Lois is about ready to get shot, he just jumps in front of her and stops the bullet. And she's just like, "How did you know you're bulletproof?" I'm like, "Well, I didn't, but I knew you weren't." Like,
yes,
come on,
perfect
that
writing
is
there.
awesome.
I really enjoyed that, Joe. I like I said, I love the
Yes,
little
Andrew.
bit, just
Pacing of the show is so good. Yes.
earning back a second chance, earning a second chance just by seeing his actions, not even with you, well, some with you, but just seeing his actions. And
Yeah.
Andrews has a really good point here, which is he enjoys the pacing of the show. There's no slow or drag on moments, which I agree. They do jump from thing to thing pretty quickly. And again, this was a
Everything
Jimmy
has meaning.
showcase episode.
Everything that's been going on. Obviously, last episode was Lois finding out about Clark and like confronting him, while Jimmy is like trying to prove that his two best friends actually want to be with him and spend time with him. And then when they conveniently forget, he goes off on himself by himself, which then this episode picks right up from that, and Jimmy and or Clark and Lois have to go rescue him. Nothing
Yes.
is being misused.
No.
Everything has a point. Everything has reason.
And even I do enjoy the back and forth here. Like Jimmy's given his own time to breed. I can enjoy a character like that. I'm not sure uh, about all of the conspiracy theories, but I do like how he basically thinks he's been validated here.
Yes,
And
100%.
the black hole, and finally seeing Task Force X like really out and about, like really
Yeah.
get the breakdown of them, find out how terrible they are, how against they are of Mala and the brain. Uh, I just enjoyed this whole story. This whole episode moved so quickly, Joe, and by the end
This
of it, I was very happy with the payoff.
yeah, this series so far has been great. I've
One
loved
thing I thought was stupid and a little against her character was Lois getting mad at Jimmy for a quick moment there because he didn't tell her about
it.
Clark's
Oh,
secret.
yeah.
That was a little stupid, just for because
No,
I've
that makes
really
sense
been
for her. Honestly, it makes sense because she knows, they're trying to find out who Superman is, and Jimmy knows and doesn't tell Lois. Like that one, I actually understood that one.
I was just like, he's trying to keep a secret. You can't expect that. But again, I just enjoyed her strong character for most of these other 5 episodes. That I just thought it was a little bit less of what I hoped she would react like. But again, not a big deal. Not gonna make me stop watching the show or anything like some
No,
of the other people
it's a great show.
with her reaction to finding out last episode. I saw some man babies cry about that, and I'm just like, okay, that's not a big deal at all.
Shocker.
That's basically Lois.
I think
Uh,
the good thing about this show is when it first came on, the first 2 episodes, I enjoyed, but I'm like, you know what? I like this, but I'm not going to be watching every week. Now I'm there every Friday.
yeah,
I'm watching
same.
it. This has gotten my attention. It has gotten. I would say it's got my money, but like HBO had my money. Like I'm there. I'm watching it. This is a great show.
And I'm right there with you, Joe. Like I was a little hesitant as well, but it
It earned it.
definitely
It earned the viewership, and that's the good thing.
agreed. And I'm just excited to see what they have in the can for season 2.
Mm-hmm.
Because where are they going to go from? I'm excited to see the conclusion of season 1, stuff with Task Force X and Superman's backstory. Because clearly that main colonel was affected when Superman landed, like something happened. So I'm really interested to get more of Superman's backstory. Andrew says it's the best part of my Fridays. Right now, it's the best thing I'm watching on Fridays.
Best part of my Fridays is just the end of the work week.
Same for me.
Easily.
3:30 hits is that's the best part. But watching this show in the evening time on
It's
Fridays,
great.
Andrew, is
Yeah.
second or third part of my Fridays. Actually, I'm gonna have to go down the list to the fourth or fifth because getting home to see my kid definitely got to be number one, and getting home to see Allison got to be number two. I got it just in case they're listening. But then we're getting to end of work for number three, and this show for number four. So
Nice.
priorities. Blue Beetle, talking about Blue Beetle next week will be up there.
We will be talking about Blue Beetle next week.
So, Joe, we have a couple episodes left. I'm really excited to talk about them when we get them. Obviously, we'll cover them week by week until we end off here. We have one small little thing left to talk about. Our Smallville retro recaps, season 3, episode 3, Extinction. I watched the Talkville about this. Didn't watch the episode. You watched the episode.
Yeah,
Didn't
I
watch
watched the episode. Didn't watch Talkville.
I think it'll be a good time to just give some summaries. I do remember this episode quite a bit because I did really enjoy the guy who played McNulty.
Yeah,
I enjoyed him. I remember him from what was he from?
Passions.
Desperate Housewives. Passions is the one thing I do remember, but just his character was.
That's where I remember him from.
His character was badass. I did enjoy him coming back. He does come back with a group of people that have axe to grind
later on
Clark.
the season too, like in 4 episodes. But no, he's basically a proto Bloodshot. Like he shot Superman with the kryptonite bullet. I'm just saying, like he it's or Bloodsport. Not Bloodshot, Deadshot, Bloodsport. That's what I was looking for. Either way, like the episode was fun. Like I actually enjoyed the episode. There was some dumb moments. I probably should have asked this season 1, but why do all of these kids have access to the school after hours?
Yeah,
because in the very beginning of the episode, Lois goes swimming in the school pool. And then by the end of it, Chloe is in the torch, just in her. And then again, Lionel just walks in too. But that's just.
I was gonna say, like, we could pop the door and get into the gym in my old school growing up. You could just tap the door knob right hard, and pop the door open and go on into the gym. Well, that wasn't exactly sanctioned or anything but frowned upon. So yeah,
Sure, but no, I guarantee these kids, all of these students have keys to the school, because not only was obviously Lois or Lana in there, but so was the one kid who was stalking her, and then Van, who he killed the one kid. Like, I don't know. There was a scene in here that I was gonna question. It was they start like rambling off all of these what would end up on Chloe's wall of weird. And I think there was one point where Lana looks at Clark is like, hey, you were always there to help. Why were you always there to help, Clark?
Yeah.
It's weird that you were always there to help.
And some of the
That,
stuff, I do remember some of the stuff, like the bullet going through Clark's hand. I thought that
that
was
was
so
cool.
cool.
That was
Like,
cool.
and that's the thing. I watched Tocqueville and Clark. Tom Welling wasn't even on there. He had a family emergency and couldn't make that one. So it was a little frustrating. Because some of the parts I did remember were parts I would have loved to directly get his take on some of the stuff, like filming that shot,
Yeah.
and a couple other things with Lex as well, and just working with this actor as at pretty much one of the heights of his with Desperate Housewives going on at the same time. He was pretty up there. I was just curious to hear some of that stuff, but unfortunately, we didn't get a lot of that. Ryan and Rosenbaum were there, and it was Rosenbaum did not like the episode. Spoiler alert.
Really?
Yeah, but that's
Because he
not
wasn't really in it?
that's par for the course for Rosenbaum.
Well, sure. But I don't know. I really enjoyed that. I thought it was a good episode.
It really
I don't
shows
know.
Van too, because he immediately sees Clark and picks up on something that half people take seasons don't
That's
pick
what
up
it was.
on of the
Okay.
meteorite. He sees that meteorites affect him, and he immediately goes to town on making kryptonite bullets. And
That's
like,
the thing I had the problem with. Because he is melting this kryptonite rock over a campfire.
yeah,
Okay. And then pouring it into, I mean, after he melted the rock, which, okay, it's not going to be melted by a campfire, but whatever. He pours it into a mold and
yeah,
then takes the like with not a stick, but like a skewer, a metal skewer, mind you, and takes it and holds it or puts it into water. Now, if that metal mold holding these bullets was hot enough to make that water boil like it did, then him holding this metal skewer with his bare hands would have burnt his hands. I'm sorry.
oh
There
yeah.
was some unbelievable things in there that really like annoyed
You just
me.
gotta, like you said, you just gotta like suspend belief, because obviously, I would hope they would have liked to show him in his own lair where he had better setup to do that kind of stuff. But
No, that like this is before the cops even found where his hideout, where his stuff was. Like, I'm sorry, this is bad. I'm sorry
yeah,
that part is
yeah,
bad. But
I
like, other than that, like the rest of it was good. Like he captures Lana. Clark figures out that Lana is in trouble. Like once Lana's in trouble, and Van like throws her aside, and then unloads the rest of his gun into Clark, only to obviously Clark have a lead shield under his shirt. But then Lana gets up and like kicks him in the balls and like knocks his ass out. Like Lana actually was awesome in
I
this
love
in that
love
scene.
how she sees Clark get shot and thinks when he gets up that he's a metahuman.
Right.
I
And
do
she
like
is
that love.
accepting it.
She plays it really well, and he doesn't tell her, which is so frustrating. And Andrew says,
She was giving him every opportunity, and he's like, I can't. Like, you moron.
Andrew says, I wish Smallville was on Max. Andrew, I'm not sure for America. I know in Canada and possibly could be America. It's on Amazon Prime.
It's on
Uh,
Hulu here.
okay,
And
okay.
so
So
Andrew, if you have Hulu, it's on there for free. Well,
yeah,
I mean, if you have Hulu, it's
yeah. So,
on Hulu.
but Joe, again, like I love this guy. I love that he comes back. He's a recurring person. That second time that he comes back is not that great for him, but still, I do like the whole team up and uh,
Because
get
that's
back
the
like
episode
that.
I remember like distinctively because it's him and like two other people or three other
Jonathan Taylor
people.
Thomas.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure Jonathan Taylor Thomas removes him from the situation, but
I
it has
think
been a
all
while.
of
It
them
has
die
been a
in the
while.
next episode, if I'm being
Yeah.
correct.
I
But
think
yes,
Jonathan Taylor Thomas's character is the reason why most of them die. I think he does
I
a
believe so.
Joker type bank job on them where gets rid
Something,
of them.
yeah.
Uh,
But yeah,
but yeah,
I am looking forward to that episode. That's coming up. I think, like I said, in like 2 or 3 episodes.
one other thing I remember about this episode, even though I didn't watch it, was the bullet. Jonathan taking the bullet out of Clark. I remember really liking that scene. I don't know
It
if
looked good.
okay. I wondered if it held up because they don't show the
Um,
scenes on Taco. They just talk about them. I did
well,
remember,
they show some of them, but not all of them.
yeah,
But
not
like
all of them.
he takes the bullet out and then kind of holds it and looks at it, and then quickly throws it into the plate with that Martha has. It's
Yeah,
like, dude, you know what it is. Get
throw
it
it
away from
away,
him.
throw it away. He's just examining the bullet. Somebody would
Yeah.
say, I imagine, but he's not really a like marksman or a bullet specialist or anything. He won't know like, oh, this was made by such and such. Like, I don't know. I agree. Just to even think about that, I thought that sounds a little dumb.
That's all good.
But yeah,
All good.
still enjoyable episode. I'm right there with you. I really enjoyed this episode. I don't know what Rosenbaum was thinking. Uh, again, we'll get ready to wrap up here. We have Randy coming in for another comment here. Gunn will shake things up when he announces second part of Phase 1 next year. Some of those projects will be delayed. Perhaps Superman Legacy, Wonder Woman could be added to first phase. Could very well possibly. I know that he has Superman Legacy written, but again, who knows with how long this strike goes and what changes may be made to the plan, Randy. I agree with you about getting more of second phase 1. I'm really excited for that. And on the game asked before we jump off here, any thoughts on the Fantastic Four casting news from last week? Vanessa Kirby or
We're
Joseph
not
Quinn?
Marvel. No.
My
I'm
thoughts
looking
are
forward
you
to
should check
I'm
out
looking forward to
Marvel Alliance and the guys talking about it there. But no, I'm really excited
I'm
for
sure
those
he did.
castings.
Oh yeah, no, those two are great. Joseph, I love Joseph Quinn in Stranger Things, and I keep forgetting Vanessa Kirby. Like I keep forgetting what she's in, and then I hear I'm like, oh yeah, she was in that. That's
Yeah.
wonderful. The one I always forget is Hobbs and Shaw. She was great. In
Yeah,
Hobbs and
she
Shaw.
was good. She was
So,
good in that, even though I thought that maybe was a little ridiculous. But again,
it's fine.
uh,
But no, both of those two, I wouldn't say no to either one of their casting. But yeah, no, go check out Marvel Alliance because they broke it down this past week.
yeah, we just don't want to say. You have to go
No,
check out Marvel Alliance,
we
or
got
they'll
no
sue
problem
us.
saying it, but we have
No.
to say we are contractually obligated to say go check out Marvel Alliance.
Yes. Well, we don't want to get sued. So Joe, this was a fun night. We didn't have a lot of news, but we managed to make it work.
Do an
as
hour
we
because
usually
that's
do.
how we do.
Listeners, we'll be back next week with our preview for Blue Beetle.
Yep.
We have a DC movie next week, so woo!
Yes, we'll have 2 episodes next week, probably.
Yes.
Right? No?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No?
Yes. That's the plan. We'll see
We'll
if
figure it
we
out.
get there. Until then, listeners, see you.
Bye, y'all.